Michael Jordan is often considered the greatest basketball player who ever lived. With what he was able to accomplish on the court, it was easy to conclude that he may have even been the greatest athlete the world had ever seen. Jordan was, however, good. He was a killer on the court who knew what it took to win. Combine that with his insane sportsmanship and hand-eye coordination, and you get the greatest basketball player to ever set foot on a hard court. Jordan was ruthless on the court, but we have seen that ruthlessness spilled out into non-basketball related incidents, which is not good for Michael Jackson. Some of these stories below show how badly Jordan wanted to win, while others just seem to demonstrate the fact that he was a real jerk off the court. Before we get to the second topic, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. A $15,000 photo story. The Chamillionaire rapper's name carried much more weight in 2009 when he asked for a photo with Jordan, which shows that Michael didn't care who you were. Chamillionaire spent $7,000 on a Jordan jersey at a celebrity auction and then went to Michael for the photo. Jordan simply replied, "I'm not taking a picture with you. I'll tell you what, spend another $15,000 on my jersey and then I'll do it." Now that's tough. Losing a race to a golfer. No one really knows how this race came about, but we do know that golfer Sergio Garcia was able to beat his heirs in the race, which is pretty amazing. It was probably the golf shoes that knocked Jordan down that day, because there was no way a golfer could beat one of the best athletes of all time in a race, right? Hall of Fame speech. Not only did Michael's Hall of Fame speech spawn the "Crying Jordan" meme, but it also showed that Jordan really hasn't changed from the days when he was the boastful and arrogant guy we all still love. A player's Hall of Fame speech should be a humbling speech in which he thanks those who have helped him, but Jordan's speech was mostly about how great his career has been. Suing a local grocery store for over $4 worth of coupons. Around the time Jordan was giving his Hall of Fame speech, a local grocery store in Chicago was giving out $2 steak coupons that congratulated Jordan on his induction into the Hall. In the end, only 2 coupons were used, but Michael still sued the grocery store for $8.9 million, which could be considered incredibly petty. Rodney McRae's ruin. Rodney McRae was a solid player who joined the Bulls in the final years of his career in hopes of winning a championship. A Bulls source said Jordan would do everything in his power to beat McRae mentally and physically for any reason. McRae had been with Chicago for only 1 year before retiring. Friendship with Charles Barkley. When Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley met in the 1993 NBA Finals, they found time to play golf together, where Jordan even bought Barkley a $20,000 diamond earring. The Bulls' assistant coach at the time asked Jordan why he did all this with him, and he replied, "Charles thinks we're great friends. I hate that fat *****. Jordan scored 55 points in the next game. Madonna chose Pippen over him. Despite the big win together, Jordan and Pippen were very competitive with each other both on and off the court. Every time the Bulls played in Los Angeles, Madonna had a limo waiting. This apparently really upset Jordan, who even tried his luck with Madonna, which she didn't go for. The fight will drag on. Jordan must have made the Bulls' workouts incredibly intense, as this is another case of him fighting a teammate. Will Perdue and the second unit were putting a lot of tough screens on Jordan, and Jordan only had to punch Perdue in the face before they had to be separated. Mocking rookie Rip Hamilton. In his final years in Washington, Jordan displayed the same classic attitude that he had for many years in Chicago. Rip Hamilton had a great career, and it began in Washington when he had the chance to play with Michael. Rip, a rookie, asked MJ to include him in the Jordan brand, but Michael only replied that he wasn't good enough. Spits out treats so no one else can have them. Several people in Jordan's entourage included his personal cinnamon bun chef and his bodyguards. Now you would think that Jordan would offer treats to people who protect him, but when he saw them looking at the buns, he would spit on them so that none of them would want them. Banned from the country club. Back in 2012, Michael Jordan was finishing up his golf game in Miami when someone at the country club approached him and asked him to change into something other than a shorts cargo. Jordan was very arrogant and refused to change. which resulted in him actually being banned from the country club because of his reaction. Kwame Brown's verbal abuse. Despite being one of the greatest basketball players of all time, his time as general manager of the Wizards was far from remarkable. His worst move, however, was investing franchise stock in senior Kwame Brown, who turned out to be mega big. In his second year, Kwame Jordan apparently berated him for months and said some pretty inappropriate things that I won't repeat here. Not letting his family come to playoff games. Michael Jordan was a different beast when it came to the playoffs. Supposedly, he asked his family not to attend playoff games, which obviously shouldn't have affected his play. Some think he actually thought he played better when they weren't there, while others think he didn't want them there so he could do whatever he wanted after the game. Bullying Bill Cartwright. Jordan wanted it to be known that he was unhappy that the Bulls released his good friend Charles Oakley and took Bill Cartwright from a rival Knicks team. Jordan was said to have intentionally thrown bad passes to Cartwright during their first workouts together and accused him of bad hands. Cartwright ended up winning 3 championships with Jordan, threatening Robert Parrish. Robert Parrish is an NBA legend, and everyone he played with had great respect for him, except one Michael Jordan. Parrish moved to the Bulls in the late 90s, and Jordan did not welcome the legend with open arms, as the two apparently came face-to-face with each other in one of their first few practices. Deceiving the older women of the card game. During his time in North Carolina, Jordan shared a room with Buzz Peterson, and they hit it off enough that Buzz became Jordan's best man at his wedding. Buzz once invited Michael to play cards with him and his mother, and when Buzz's mother went to the bathroom, Jordan didn't even look at her cards. There goes his competitive side again, barely tipping the waitress. This story sheds some light on how Michael treated some people in the service industry, as he was apparently a very bad tipper. While playing cards with hockey legend Wayne Gretzky in Vegas, Jordan only tipped the waitress $5 even though she had been serving him drinks all night. Mr. Gretzky didn't like that and took a $100 chip from Jordan's table and gave it to her. The flu game conspiracy. The flu game was one of the highlights of Jordan's incredible NBA career. The media reported that Jordan was battling the flu, which may have been true, but Jalen Rose reportedly claimed that Michael actually had a hangover the night before. We will never know the real truth about what happened the night before the game, but we do know that he wasn't 100% that night, but he didn't let that stop him.